Okay, let's see. Fisherman's Bay, E25. You got a lot of tank charge, somewhat campy. So a lot of this depends on what your faster tanks do. And so what you want to do in this situation is sort of be a support tank for wherever your lead guys are. You don't want to sit too far back. You don't want to camp back at B1 or like in this 8 line over here. You just want to figure out where your guys are going. This is a fast enough tank that I would play it in the middle. It doesn't really play the middle that well though, so it's usually I'll go up here and then I'll figure out where my support's gonna need to be. So it looks like you're sending your type down this way, T43 down this way, and so what you want to do is you want to watch and see if these guys try to push this G1 area here. If they try to push there, you want to be over there. So the best place to protect them is actually there's basically a double bush that you can shoot through over here. You want to be far enough forward. You want to watch this guy. This guy's key right now. You've got a lot of your tanks behind him. This T43 right here. And let's see how he pushed through G1. He hasn't found anything. So you want to start looking down in that area. Hopefully your team moves up just a little bit. They've got a lot of tanks over there. So they've got 4 8s over there. So you actually see how your guys are dispersed on this side and you have nothing in the middle. This is not a very good dispersion. You've got a bunch of guys camping over here, a bunch of guys camping over here, and nothing in the middle, right? And the guys that are pushing forward, right, are lacking support. You're not going to win here. No matter what you do at this point, you're not going to win on this side. So what you want to be able to do is I would come to the middle here, and then all you're looking to do is keep these guys honest from the middle so that they don't wreck your guys over here, because you're not really going to be able to do anything for this T43. If any of these 8s push him, it's not like your T43 is being a little bit too exploratory. But if their guys are camping too, you have to realize that they're camping a bunch of their top tiers over here. So just go and do something else at this point. Yeah, and I mean, you can click on the map, but if they don't go, the first 100 times that you click on the map, they're not going to ever go. And this is one of, like if you ever, I very rarely talk to people in game, but if you see me talk to people in game, I'll say it once, maybe twice. If they listen, then great. They were always going to listen. If they don't listen to you, they're never going to listen to you. It's not going to happen. You need to accept that. And continuing to spam it is just going to make you more frustrated. They're never going to listen. You're not really getting that good of shots where you're at, and especially since a lot of these 8s. So your guys have actually started moving down here, but barring this T69 pushing on this side, which isn't the way that they're dispersed. The way that they're dispersed is more on this 2-line area. I say as their T69 starts pushing in over from the 2-line for some reason. So watch this guy now. Because if your guys push back to G1, see how they're pushing up? Now you're going to get shots. Now you're going to get shots down there, right? On these guys. Like this T34. He backed off. And the T69 is behind the rock now. They're pushing through over here. So this is what I was saying, is that the middle gets great shots on town from either, whether they push through over here or whether you push through on their side. And so like this T69 will get great shots on these guys over here. You just need to keep their guys honest, right? Their Centurion 1 that was up here went down to the town. That's a huge benefit for anybody that's in the middle here. There's a Chiri that's right here. Their team has played rather passive on their side, and at this point they're being aggressive on this other side. And again, I still don't think that this is that great of a place for you to be. I mean, and in that particular situation, a lot of times when you're the low alpha tank, wait until you see the shell from the ISU flying towards your opponent, and then you can fire. Don't be the guy to spook him. IS-6 is coming across that middle. That's not really a concern now. Not at this point. Let your teammates worry about him. Although I guess he has a complete profile team. Shoot a little bit more towards the engine deck side. You'll either track him or set him on fire. Or somebody else will blow him up. That works too. And so this is the problem of pushing on this side. Like, you know, when you play this south, what you want to be able to do is push up into this D1 area early. You don't want to be lit from G1 and then have to drive across at them. You've lost your base, you've got no eyes over here. One of the other reasons why I like playing the middle is that it really helps prevent these guys from just coming across whenever they want. So if their guys camp back here, there's really nothing that you can do about it. You should be watching this side. It's going to be difficult for you to penetrate the IS-3 frontally with regular shells. So you're better off making sure that you could deal the damage to the Centurion. Frontally is still going to be a problem. But see how they're moving in on your south? You have to see that. These are guys that, like, you had an opportunity, a window where you could have shot the KV-2. And then you actually want to push down there with the IS, because that way only the IS can shoot you. Yeah, there you go. You can get behind the KV-2. You can basically switch positions. There's a KV-85 over there someplace.
It's a trap!
Oh my god, don't rush your shots. Make that shot count. You know, if you're going over and you know 100% that he's not going to have the turret rotation to be able to get you, make that shot count. You can get shots on these guys right now. That's where you should probably be looking. Your guys aren't going to be alive for much longer, so I'm not exactly sure where you're going right now. Especially since they seem to be doing okay. So that IS-3 probably is not going to be lit anywhere where you can get shots. The T-43, however, probably will be. Oh, look, he is. It's interesting that he took that approach to get to your computer. The strength of the E-25 is not in long-range sniping, unfortunately. It's really just the DPM. That guy's in the ditch, so he's going to be difficult to get. You should probably try to save that JT-88 if you can. I don't think you'll be able to, or at least it'll be really, really rough. I think you could have gotten shots on that T-43 from this position right here as he was driving up through there. That would have been much more profitable because you probably could have killed him and prevented your JT-88 from getting in a flanking situation. Like right now, you're doing too much driving and not enough shooting, so he's gonna die before you get there. Probably.
It's a trap!
Make your shots count. The KV-85 is shooting HE, that's good news. You'll be able to kill this guy before he shoots you, also good news. And at this point, I would probably just push the IS-3. You burn through your APCRs earlier, like shooting at the Centurion, which is not what you wanted to do. You need to figure out some way to kill this IS-3. Like, that's going to be the linchpin. If you can get the IS-3 down, ideally with minimal damage, that's what you're looking for. The KV-85 is not going to be a threat. It's going to be difficult for the artillery to shoot you. So driving away, totally fine with that. I think that's a good call. If you wanted, you could. Yeah, I don't know that you can have time to kill artillery, because then if both of these guys get on cap, you're not going to be able to get back. But you can play through this middle area still fairly easily. I think what you want to do is catch this IS-3 if he moves across towards the cap, which I'm not entirely sure that he will. This KV-85 will probably continue north on the 2 line. You could also bite that guy through this middle area. So he's going to probably, like if you just drove up here. And this is one of the things is that, you know, in the late game like this, you don't want to be in a situation where things stay unlit for too long. If you're in a fast tank with good camo, you know, sort of try to keep track of where all the tanks are. Don't let them get unlit for too long, because your disadvantage is when you no longer know where they are. It becomes really difficult to keep track of them. It's difficult to light the cap from right from where you're at. If you go a little bit more west, you actually get better shot aim. This works. And so you have all the time in the world there. All the time in the world. You should definitely back up. And so basically you're relying on that tree right there to block you. Or their bad crews. You want to back up. Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. They know that you're in the middle, and then just completely relocate. They've come off the cap. It's not a problem. You can come over to this area over here to reset, or you even have time if you want to go all the way over here. You've got a fast enough tank, good enough camo. They have one on, which means that the other guy either is camping on the rock or he's headed south on this sort of 5 line over here. But that means that you have plenty of time, you know, so just take your time and pick them apart. You're the faster tank in this situation. And for that IS-3 side profile, absolutely want to just back up, make sure that you have double bush, take your time, and make sure you do a damaging shot. That's the difference between that guy being 1 shot and 2 shot is you dealing 1 shot of damage to him right there. If you deal 1 shot of damage to him right there, then, you know, that's fantastic. That's great. And then you can still, you want to be careful if you come up through here. There's like a bush, I think it's around this area over here. You usually don't want to come up over here unless it's, you know, really a dire emergency. And then remember, the trees, fallen trees do not really give as good of camo. So the IS-3 is probably still on the cap. There's a bush right there that's in front of you. It's fine. Just back up, back up. Back up a little bit more. Back up. Oh. You've reset him. There's no. Don't waste ammo. You're better off killing the KV-85 at this point. Well, he's not out, unfortunately. And then, so look at the IS-3, zoom in on the IS-3 so you can see which way he's facing, right? And then at this point, you can relocate to get a better angle. You can shoot him through the shoulder, but it'll take a high pen roll in order to get through that shoulder from that range with regular AP. And you don't really have the shells to burn for that. So what you want to be able to do is get back to your original position so you can shoot into the back of his tank. See how he's still angling the same way? Or at least get to a position where you're at a 90-degree angle. You have to be careful because the you don't know where the KV-85 is. Back up, back up, back up. There you go. That's excellent. No. Okay, it worked. But you need to be careful with that shot. So when somebody is angled at you, all things being equal, this geometry is going to come into play a little bit. All things being equal, the closer point that you shoot on the tank is going to be the least angle. As you shoot further away towards the back of the tank, you're going to increase your angle. So you could shoot him through the drive wheel there if you wanted, and then so what you're doing is like perfectly fine. So you want to go back now and get the initial lights. You basically need 1 reset to draw. It's going to be difficult to win. I don't know that you have the shells to kill everything. And then this is where you need to be a little careful coming through. It's a good shot. Run away! Run away! No, run away! I don't. So there's absolutely no reason, zero reason for you to sit there and admire that shot. You absolutely should have just taken that shot and then just bail. Okay, and then now I'm not exactly sure what you're doing.
It's a trap!
Lol. Yeah. So pick, and then YOLO. Just literally drive off a cliff. I don't know about that. I think you probably should have relocated in the early game. I didn't think there was any reason for you to hang out in the C1 area for nearly as long as you did. Your team was too far back to be effective. You don't have enough alpha, to keep these guys honest, right? And your dudes that went down here, which was the Type and the T-43, they push forward, right? And when you're a single tank down there with no sniping support, you don't push through there, or if you do and you see that there's 4 8s there, you just come back and you camp G1. You let them push you and you hope that your team moves far enough forward. I felt like you could have been much more effective in the early to mid game playing this middle, especially once the Centurion left. Playing the middle allows you to get great shots, especially once they start pushing through town. You get a lot of easy shots. In the late game, I thought you played it pretty well. It was a good idea to run away from the IS-3, force them to get on cap, and then relocate. I felt like you weren't nearly as efficient as you could have been with some of your shots, and that might have allowed you to get the IS-3 down earlier. And then you really didn't need to YOLO after the KV-85. All you needed to do was to relocate over to this side and kill the KV-85, because you were going to need to come down to the south to try to kill the S-51 anyways. You're running short on time. So given the time point at which you killed the IS-3, it's arguable that you were never going to win this game unless the S-51 was like up here or something like that. Something crazy like that. You just didn't have enough time to kill the KV-85 and traverse the map. So if you're playing for a draw or a loss, I'd rather draw. The only time you play for... The only time you're aggressive in that situation is if you're playing for the remote chance of a win, which you didn't really have given the time. And again, I think if you were a little bit more efficient, you would have been able to kill the IS-3, and you probably could have won this round. Okay, so if we look at the stats, I don't think your team helped you out a whole lot. Wow, that JT88 did some work. Good for him. He probably ammo racked that IS-6 among other things. Yeah, that's unfortunate. He played way too far back as well. He just benefited from the fact that your team, or the enemy team, basically fed him. Yeah, that's not so good. 25 pens on 56 shots. Not fantastic. You burned through your APCRs at a bad time as well. I think you started with 6 or something like that. And if you're going to have that many APCR, you really want to save it until the end game, or for things that need to die but you cannot pen. And you weren't really in that situation. You basically used your APCR shells on tanks that really didn't need to die at that point in time. Okay. Otherwise, GG. It's unfortunate that your team was a little bit too campy, but their team pushed in foolishly as well, which means that you had a window where you could have won.